like a Hellcat.
Hello and welcome back to the channel where once again it's time for another wrestling game review, with today's game being one of the most revered and loved wrestling games of all time. Of course, I'm talking about Wrestlemania 2000 on the Nintendo 64, which originally saw release in Europe in October of 1999 before being released in November of 1999 in America, and then finally a September of 2000 release over in Japan. Now, there was no way that I could start this review without talking about the introduction to Wrestlemania 2000 first, because in my eyes, it's the very best intro to any wrestling game of all time. It really is that good. It sets the scene and the tempo for the game possibly better than any other intro I've ever seen in my life, and it has a wonderful piece of music playing over the top that gets you so pumped and psyched for the game. It's just an absolutely incredible feeling. Now, the Aki Corporation were fantastic with their intros. We'd seen it with WCW NWO Revenge before this, and we saw it again with WWF No Mercy after that. They put so much care and attention into the intro videos for these games, and they genuinely got you absolutely pumped up and psyched and so excited to be playing their wrestling games. So once the main menu hits, you'll see you've got a variety of modes of play, which include your standard exhibition mode, your Road to WrestleMania, which is your main season mode. You've got Creator Pay-Per-View, King of the Ring, Edit Mode, Royal Rumble, your data copying facilities, and your options. Heading into options, you've got all of your standard things that you can change, like difficulty and whether you want a variety of things on or off. Now, if you're familiar with the WWF roster from this point of time, you'll know that it was absolutely stacked with a who's who of the most popular wrestlers from that time period. You've got Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H, Mankind, Undertaker, Kane, Big Show, X-Pac, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, Val Venus, Ken Shamrock, Edge, Christian, the Hardy Boys, you name it. If they were in the WWF and they were on TV at this point in time, they are in this game. Now, with all of that said and done, we need to do what we usually do, talk about how this game looks, how it sounds, how it plays, content and lifespan, whether it's still worth playing today, and where is it going to rank in our wrestling game top 10. So starting with visuals first, and if you're familiar with Aki Corporation developed wrestling games on the N64, you'll know that the characters have got this blocky, solid style look, and whilst it doesn't depict realism, it gives the characters a great sense of durability and toughness, in my opinion, and it gives them a great sense of character. And as well as that, it means the games differ visually from the PlayStation games, and I like it because it's a completely different style of presentation. As well as that, we've got great ring entrances on this game, full length, very well animated, and the characters do exactly what they would be doing in real life. And speaking of animations, we have got fantastically animated moves, just like always with their games within Wrestlemania 2000, because the moves all look spot on. They are so well animated, and it's one of the reasons why the games hold up so well today, because the moves just look so good. And it would be really difficult for me to say that actually more modern games have bettered the animations for the moves in the Aki Corporation games, because I don't think they have. They still stand the test of time so well. Now, the game doesn't look perfect because there are some polygonal glitches when you're pulling off moves. Sometimes you'll do a suplex and someone's head is poking through an arm, so the games by no means look perfect, but they do run very good. There's no visible slowdown in these games. Even when you've got 4 characters on the screen, the game performs very, very well. So overall, in the visual department, I think the game holds up pretty well due to the unique look of all of the characters and the fantastic animations for all of the moves. So moving on to the sound effects and music next, and one massive advantage Wrestlemania 2000 has over WCW NWO Revenge is obviously the fact that the wrestlers have got their authentic entrance music on this game. That for me was one of the biggest flaws of WCW NWO Revenge. Not having any authentic wrestling tunes massively diminishes the atmosphere that a game could create, and thankfully WrestleMania 2000 has them all. Yes, they're not the highest quality because of our good old cartridge limitations, but they're on here nonetheless, and the game gets massive credit for having them. Now, as well as that, we've got fantastic sound effects within the matches. Whilst they're not exactly realistic in terms of sounding how moves sounded in real life, what they do is create a great sense of damage, with lighter hits having slightly less impressive sound effects, whereas the heavier hits sound much more impactful, like they would genuinely be causing you more damage. So I really do think the sound effects and the music are a real highlight within WrestleMania 2000. So what I'll do, of course, is give you a few examples of some of the wrestlers' theme musics within the game.
Smell what the Rock is cooking? The Rock says, the Rock says, the Rock says, the Rock says.
Tell us what to do, yeah. Think you can tell us what to wear. Think you better, well you better get ready to bow to the master.
So moving on to the gameplay next, and there's two main reasons why the Aki developed wrestling games on the N64 hold up so well. The first is obviously the tremendous move animations, but the second is the wonderful in-depth gameplay mechanics that we've got on offer here. And WrestleMania 2000 plays as close to perfectly, I feel, as any wrestling game possibly could. The striking system, the grappling system, the special system, and the countering is all top quality. There is such a variety of moves in this game, and the fact that probably about 90% of the moves can all be countered and reversed means there's such tremendous long-term depth and satisfaction with this game. It's very difficult to say anything negative about the way WrestleMania 2000 plays, because I feel it plays as close to perfectly as any wrestling game possibly could. So moving on to content and lifespan next, and there's quite a lot to do whether you're just after a single player game or a multiplayer experience here. As well as our exhibition modes, we've got a King of the Ring mode where you can enter all of your friends and see who comes out on top. We can have a Royal Rumble, you can create your own pay-per-view, and of course you've got Road to WrestleMania, which is the main mode of play, your season star mode where you select a wrestler, move through it week to week and try and win all of the titles, and you can actually unlock a few other characters by doing this. As well as that, we've got a tremendously in-depth creator wrestler as well. At this point in time, it was without a doubt the most in-depth creator wrestler we had ever seen, due to the sheer number of moves that you could allocate to your wrestler and all of the counter moves that you could pick too. It really was so in-depth and satisfying to pull off. And another thing I want to point out is that in the exhibition modes, you can actually tweak lots of the rules to change the match types. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on just with single matches, tag matches, cage matches, but once you get into the options, you realize you can turn it into a submissions only match, first blood match, no disqualification match. So there's actually more options than you initially think, which even adds more to the content and lifespan of the game.
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
As always, that leaves us with our two final questions. Is WrestleMania 2000 still worth playing today, and where does it feature in our wrestling game top 10? Now, some people will tell you there's no point playing WrestleMania 2000 because WWF No Mercy exists. And for me, WrestleMania 2000 actually has 2 or 3 advantages over that game, but I'm not going to discuss those now. I'm going to discuss those when I talk about No Mercy in an upcoming video. For me, WrestleMania 2000 is a brilliant playing game, well worth still playing, simply because it's got such fantastic gameplay and it feels so rewarding and satisfying to beat up your opponents on this game, and the move animations are simply top draw as well. Now, where does it feature in our wrestling game top 10? And it won't come as much of a surprise when I say that WrestleMania 2000 is coming in at the #1 position, because in my eyes it's above and beyond anything else we've looked at so far in the wrestling game series. It takes the basis of WCW NWO Revenge and simply amplifies it and adds more to it, meaning it is a tremendous wrestling experience. But of course, these are just my thoughts and my thoughts alone. If yours differ or if you agree with me, let me know with a comment down below, and like always, I'll be back in the near future with another video. Goodbye for now.